Today we're really getting into something that gets talked about a lot, maybe too vaguely. Daily meditation. You always hear these big claims, right? It'll change your life, calm your mind. But, for this deep dive, we want to get past that. We're looking for the specifics.
Yeah.
The data.
Exactly. That's the mission today. We're trying to be surgical here.
Yeah.
Really extract the specific evidence-backed stuff from the research you shared.
Right.
If meditation is really this non-negotiable thing for successful people, we need to understand why. What's actually happening? Physiologically, neurologically. What happens when you take those few minutes each day?
Okay, let's unpack it then. The sources, they kind of boiled it down to 5 core ways it changes you, backed by research.
Yeah.
So if you're maybe a bit skeptical, these points should give you something solid, measurable reasons to maybe give it a shot. We can kick off with the mental benefit right away, the idea of it being like installing a pause button in your day.
Which is so necessary now, isn't it, with everything coming at us? The issue isn't just the rushing around or the constant pings from messages or work that never seems to end. It's our automatic reaction to all of it. We're kind of stuck in this state of just reacting.
Yeah, constantly on the back foot. And it feels weird, almost counterproductive, to think that stopping for even just 2 minutes could help when you feel like you need to do more.
But that's where the sources say the big shift starts.
Okay.
What's really fascinating is how quickly that cognitive state can shift. When you just sit quietly, focus on your breath, even for a tiny bit, you're consciously stepping off the automatic pilot.
Right.
You move from just reacting all the time to a state of, noticing, observing. So instead of immediately latching onto an anxious thought or jumping to the next worry,
You just see it, like, oh, there's a thought.
exactly, you start noticing it as just like a passing thing, not an order you have to follow.
So it's not really about forcing your mind to be blank, which feels impossible anyway.
No, not at all. That's a common misconception. It's about changing the relationship you have with those thoughts.
How does that work?
Well, the actual training happens when your mind wanders, which it will, and you gently bring your attention back. That simple action, bringing it back, that's what breaks the loop.
Okay.
And this awareness, this noticing, it has huge implications for your emotional health. The sources used a great metaphor, I thought. Starting to see feelings like waves.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. A wave comes, it peaks, it breaks, and then it just goes back out. You don't fight the ocean.
Precisely. You feel anger or anxiety or impatience. But because you've practiced that pause, you start to recognize, okay, this is temporary. It comes and it goes. That awareness itself stops you from getting totally swept away by the emotion, reacting in ways you regret later.
So you understand the emotion, but it doesn't run the show.
Exactly. It doesn't control your actions in the same way. And that shift alone, that brings a massive amount of emotional stability, balance.
Okay, so that covers the mental side, the pause button, managing emotions like waves. Let's get into the part where maybe more people raise an eyebrow. The physiological stuff, the body changes. This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Absolutely. Because we're not just talking about feeling relaxed. We need to talk about actual measurable changes in how your body's operating system is running.
Like changing the chemistry.
Yeah, changing the body's chemistry basically on demand. It's like a downshift.
Okay, host hat on. I need the specifics. If the sources say your heart rate slows, your body releases calming chemicals. What's the mechanism? How does just sitting quietly do that to complex physical systems?
Right. This is where the deep dive gets meaty. We're talking about systematically calming down the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis.
Well, that's the body's main stress response system.
That's the one. Think of consistent meditation as acting like a dimmer switch on that whole system.
Turning down the stress switch.
Exactly. When you meditate, you can measurably reduce the stress hormones circulating in your system, like cortisol and adrenaline.
Okay.
And lower cortisol levels link directly to less chronic stress, better health overall. Plus, we see improvements in something called heart rate variability, or HRV.
HRV, that's the little variations between heart
Yeah,
rates.
the tiny differences in timing. And having high variability there is actually a key sign of a healthy, adaptable nervous system, one that can handle stress well.
So it's like you're training your body to bounce back from stress faster and better, even when you're not actively meditating at that moment.
That's the functional takeaway. Exactly. It builds resilience.
And connecting this to overall health.
Mm-hmm.
The sources mention things like boosting the immune system. That sounds like a huge claim for just sitting still. Can we really quantify that?
Well, it is measurable indirectly. Think about chronic stress. It fuels chronic inflammation, right? When that HPA axis, that stress switch, is always on or dialed way up, it pumps out pro-inflammatory stuff, chemicals called cytokines. Regular meditation helps reduce the markers of that chronic inflammation. So if you lower that baseline inflammation,
Then your immune system isn't constantly fighting this low-grade internal battle.
exactly, it frees it up, it can function more efficiently, deal with actual threats like viruses or bacteria, instead of being bogged down by internal stress signals.
Wow.
And that reduction in systemic inflammation is also where the research comes from, suggesting it might even slow down biological aging processes.
That is genuinely remarkable. Seriously, no pills, no special gym equipment. Just paying attention to your breath changes your body chemistry.
It's pretty powerful, accessible preventive medicine in a way.
And restorative, too.
Okay, let's move to the third core benefit, performance. We often hear about the calming side, but meditation is also framed as like specific brain training for improving daily function.
Yeah, mental muscles.
Right. I want to talk about focus, concentration at work, when you're studying, even just staying present in a conversation. How does this quiet time translate into mental strength? We really should view it literally as building mental muscle. You wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to lift huge weights, right?
Definitely not.
It's similar here. You don't expect laser focus after one meditation session.
But okay, skip the cat back on for a second.
Yeah.
How does just bringing your attention back again and again, how does that actually change the physical brain? Is there solid ground for that claim in the sources?
There is. The grounding is in neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change itself.
Okay.
Consistent practice, especially mindfulness techniques, has been shown to increase gray matter density, basically more brain cells or connections in key areas.
Which areas?
Critically, we see changes in the prefrontal cortex, the PFC.
And the PFC, that's like the brain's CEO, isn't it? Decision-making, planning, focus control.
Exactly right. So when you practice focusing, you are literally exercising that part of your brain, the part that helps you filter out the internal chatter. Did I reply to that email? What's for dinner? All that stuff.
So you get better at ignoring distractions.
You strengthen your brain's ability to choose what to focus on. And the sources really stress this point. The moment your mind wanders and you notice it and you gently bring it back, that moment of noticing and redirecting is the workout. That's the rep.
So the mind wandering isn't a failure. It's actually the opportunity.
That's the essential realization.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not about never wandering. It's about getting good at coming back.
Right.
And if you practice that noticing and redirecting, over time, the PFC gets more efficient. The result, better functional performance. You're less easily distracted. You can concentrate more deeply, remember things better, stay more present.
This takes us neatly to the fourth point, which is super practical for anyone listening.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I actually do this?
Yeah, the application.
We've talked about the mental pause, the physical calm down through the HPA axis, the focus boost via the PFC. But if someone's totally new, or maybe they've tried before and felt like they failed, what's the simple, low-barrier way in that the sources mention?
The main tip is actually refreshingly, well, non-demanding. It cuts through that feeling of, oh, another big commitment.
Okay.
The sources overwhelmingly say, start small. Just sit quietly for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Really, that feels almost like nothing. We're always told go big or go home with fitness and stuff. Can 2 minutes actually start those changes we talked about?
That's a really fair question, and the research strongly suggests yes, because the real benefit comes from the consistency, not necessarily the duration, especially at first.
Okay.
2 minutes is so low barrier that the "I don't have time" excuse kind of evaporates, doesn't it?
Yeah, hard to argue with 2 minutes.
And by making it a daily thing, something non-negotiable, you start carving out that neural pathway for paying attention, for noticing. Sitting for 2 minutes every single day for a month will likely do way more for you than trying to sit for an hour once a month and then giving up.
Consistency beats intensity, especially when you're starting out. Got it.
Right.
But what about the biggest hurdle for most people, I think? You sit down and your mind just goes crazy with thoughts, noise.
Yep. And that's exactly where most people quit. They think, I'm doing it wrong. My mind isn't quiet.
Right.
But the sources clarify. The practice isn't about achieving a quiet mind, especially not at first. It's about acknowledging the noisy mind without getting caught up in it.
So if thoughts are racing,
Just gently label it in your head, thinking or planning or whatever, and then gently, kindly bring your attention back to your anchor, usually the breath.
that gentle return, that's the key move again.
That's the power move. That's the rep for the PFC muscle.
And the sources also made a point about what you don't need, which makes it feel more accessible.
Absolutely. No fancy cushions needed, no candles, no special quiet room, no expensive apps necessarily. You can literally do it sitting at your desk for 2 minutes before you start work or in your car before you walk inside.
That's to make it easy.
Make it easy. The best practical tip is maybe to find a habit you already do every day without fail, like making coffee, brushing your teeth, and just stack those 2 minutes of quiet sitting right onto it before or after.
Habit stacking.
Yeah, that kind of contextual anchoring really helps build consistency.
Okay, that feels like the ultimate actionable takeaway.
Yeah.
So, quick summary of what we've dug into. Daily meditation isn't just vague calmness. It's a real shift from just reacting to actually noticing what's going on in your head. It physically changes the body, dialing down that HPA stress axis, lowering cortisol, improving HRV.
Right.
And it's like mental weight training, strengthening focus by actually changing gray matter in the prefrontal cortex.
Oh.
So putting it all together, what does this mean for us trying to navigate this crazy, noisy world?
Well, okay, here's a thought to maybe chew on. We've just talked about how something as seemingly passive as just sitting still and focusing on your breath can impact really complex physical systems, immunity, blood pressure, maybe even aging. Systems we usually try to tackle with, drugs or diets or intense interventions.
Yeah.
So consider this. How often do we just fundamentally underestimate the power of these seemingly passive activities, like quiet breathing, compared to always trying to actively fix things from the outside? What other simple daily non-actions things that seem too easy might hold similar, really deep biological benefits that maybe we just haven't properly measured or appreciated yet?
That is definitely food for thought, something to ponder. We really encourage you to maybe explore the source material more if this sparked your interest, and perhaps try that 2-minute commitment today, see what happens.
Worth a try.
Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep digging deeper.